call on Imelda Realabin Ragasa to introduce to you our guest speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Imelda Realabin Ragasa.
Okay, good evening everyone. Our man of the hour is an educator by heart and a defender of justice by profession. He has left a mark of pleasant memories to the nursing students in UNP. He inspired most of us with his words of wisdom, kindness, and fatherly advice. A loving father and a husband, a real and true friend to anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with great pride, may I present our guest speaker for tonight's special occasion, the first Filipino retired judge in New Jersey, Attorney Victor Season.
Imelda, thank you for your kind words. Before I got the notice that I'm going to be the guest speaker, I was talking with Chato, and I told Chato, she was actually embarrassed on how she's going to introduce me. So I said, don't worry, I'll introduce myself. Because most of you know me and most of you don't. And this year, in January, I went back to Vegan, and I attended the inili of the Immaculate Conception School of Theology in Panday, Dayan. And during the occasion, most of the priests were my students, and they asked me to say some few words. But in the group, you have a lot of new faces, new young people, so they don't know me. So to introduce myself, I said, way back in 1974, there was a young priest who just came from Rome with a doctorate, and he was borrowed by the Diocese of Vigan to teach. And the reason was because the bishop then of Nueva Segovia was his uncle, and he was promised, this young priest was promised to be the first rector in 1986, when the ICST would be handed over to the secular priest. So this young priest was there, and he was also assigned to be the UNP chaplain in '76. So most of you who were there must have seen him. He was in slim, with long hair, and during the time, yes. And she met a beautiful instructress, a certain Miss Guerrero, who was teaching and who was also a professor for most of you. And before 1986 came, that young priest left, and he reinvented himself. He became a lawyer in the United States. He became a judge, and he started practicing lawyer. And the name of that is Victor Season, and I'm here right now with you, and I used to be your UNP chaplain. So I'm very happy to be here. If you don't recognize me, I'm standing before you. It was because I used to wear a long cassock when you have your cupping. And in the words of St. Peter, he said, Lord, it's nice to be here with you tonight. So thank you, Chato, for the invitation. I know it was an afterthought that you're going to invite me, but nonetheless, it was a sincere invitation, and it's nice to be with you again. Anyway, I was asked to give you an inspirational talk, and I remember my sister who told me that a good talk would move hearts, a lousy talk would move the chairs. I'm going to make sure that you're not going to move your chairs. And I would like to give us a message for tonight, the message of life changes. What shall we do when we encounter change? And this is a necessity in life because as we grow older, it's like a straight line. I think Miss Flory Martinez spoke about how you were young. She recalled the time when you were naive, innocent students. And she goes back to the time when you didn't know anything. Now you are world-class nurses all over the world. In that spectrum, there was a line, and you must have experienced changes. Now you got married, perhaps you got divorced, you had children, and perhaps you encounter the death of a partner. And so the question is, what do you do in terms of these changes? And I remember in my little room in UNP, if you ever visited my chaplain's room, who you have seen my chaplain's room? You did. There was that little thing I placed there said, says, Lord, let me have the courage to change what could be changed, the patience to endure things that could not be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I would like to share this as a message to you. There are things we cannot change. We must have the courage and the patience to endure them. But when we need to do a change like what you're doing now, you're trying to revolutionize your class by trying to come together and reunite. You must have the courage to do that. But there are things you can't do anything, and you must have the wisdom to